Hey everyone! Thanks for joining me in day 21 of me and my host family's road trip from Tokyo to Hokkaido. The day before, we checked into the inn and gone to sleep quite early. We had a hearty breakfast around 7 to prepare ourselves for the day, and then made our way to the park around 9. In 10 minutes, we'd arrived at the Shiretoko National Park Nature Center. This building serves as the welcome center and informational hub for all the trail proceedings, nature walks, bus tickets and tours, and info on the surrounding attractions for the park. I checked out the scale models of the park and trail maps plastered on the walls with my host mom, while my host dad and the kids waited in line to buy our bus tickets. My host parents bought us all round-trip tickets, which for the adults cost about $10. The shuttle bus we rode would take us to the main walking trail, which included the 5 main lakes of the park. I made sure to ride on the right-hand side of the bus when we came back to better see the sweeping valleys. Once arriving at the field house, we along with our fellow hikers had to register our party, and then we immersed ourselves in all the informative pamphlets and boards they had that gave current information on weather, bear sightings on trails, and rules to keep in mind when walking through the forest. Because of the season we were in, trail parties were limited to 50 people to avoid overcrowding and vegetation degradation. After a 10-minute lecture advising us on what to do if we encounter a bear and other such scenarios, we were given a portable toilet bag and an official certificate of entry that acted as our park pass for the day. And then we were off. We decided to do the 90-minute walk that took us around all 5 lakes and would end with an elevated boardwalk that gave us a sweeping 360-degree view of the mountains and sea. The park was made a certified UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2005, but was officially established in 1964. The park is home to about 800 plant species and 500 animal species, including brown bears, killer whales, foxes and deer, as well as the endangered Steller sea eagle, one of the world's largest predatory birds that sits at a foot longer and taller than a bald eagle. Here, you see us making the rounds at Shiretoko's Goko, or 5 lakes, and looking at the surrounding brush, like this hollowed-out tree that you can see straight through. With a focus on wildlife conservation coupled with ecotourism, the area aims to showcase the park as it naturally has stood for centuries, which is becoming more and more of a rarity in the modern world. While we visited during the summer season, in winter, a lot of these trails aren't even accessible due to heavy snowfall. During the colder months, drift ice will accumulate around the coast, bringing migrating animals and tourists eager for the chance to walk on drift ice with it. This park is definitely a birdwatcher's paradise for all the varying species they have roaming the woods. While I wished he would have taken flight so I could get a cool shot, we spotted what most likely looked like a crane replenishing itself in the second lake. We soon came to the first lake, which ironically was the last one we saw on our walk. The clearing revealed Mount Raosu in the distance, shrouded in cloud cover. There were also a bunch of gorgeous white water lilies fanned out over the surface of the lake. As we drew closer to the coastline, the amount of trees continued to dwindle. Continuing on the trail, we slid through the turnstiles and emerged on an elevated wooden boardwalk, which gave way to an amazing panoramic view. Bearing in mind that we were in the most remote part of Japan and bordering a sea that stretches well into Russian territory, it felt like we were on the edge of the world. I was definitely humbled and in awe at the overwhelming vastness of nature. The boardwalk looped back to the field house, where we regrouped and decided what we'd do next. First order of business was to feed ourselves some lingonberry ice cream, and I tried a venison burger for the first time for lunch. After eating, we waited for the bus to pick us up and drive us further north into the wilderness, up to Kamuiwakka Falls. Because we had round-trip tickets, there were no extra fees for the 25-minute drive. The waterfall's name is comprised of 2 Ainu words, Kamui, meaning God, and Waka, meaning water. Because the falls are fed by Mount Iyo, an active volcano nearby, the waterfall is actually a hot spring due to its high acidity and sulfur content. There was a small area where people removed their shoes or switched to sandals and then began their ascent up the waterfall. I decided to keep my waterproof hiking boots on out of convenience, but due to the quality and temperature of the water, it was comfortably warm and is said to help in healing cuts and burns. After climbing a small hill which was alarmingly slippery, we'd come to the edge of the safe boundary of the waterfall. In years past, people could climb further, but they sectioned it off due to unsafe water temperatures and falling rocks from the steep mountains the falls run through. The waterfall still continues for another kilometer or so, before falling 100 feet and emptying into the Okhotsk Sea. The waterfall was a refreshing addition to the tour, and the possibility of seeing bears around was a little unnerving but thrilling nonetheless. We took the crowded shuttle bus back down the mountains, stopping once at the field house and then transferring to a different bus that took us back to the nature center. Once there, my host parents were deciding if we had enough energy and time to check out Furepe Falls, another natural attraction at the park. I was looking forward to seeing more, but in being nowhere near the natural outdoorsy type, I was definitely on edge about all the bear warning signs. Luckily, the trail leading to the falls was comparatively less forested than the area around the 5 lakes, and the gorgeous greenery and views of the sea helped calm my nerves. The 20-minute walk led us through an open grassland plain to the edge of the peninsula. To our left was an observation deck, and just beyond the sun-bleached sign was a lighthouse in the distance and a cool view of the waterfall below. Fed by an underground river, the falls drop about 330 feet before emptying into the sea below. I found the rock textures in the face of the cliff visually striking and interesting. Someone even spotted some grazing deer on the cliffside. My host dad and the kids were farther up ahead than us, but it gave my host mom and I a chance to enjoy the landscape. A smaller group of deer actually crossed our path in catching up with the rest of their herd. In Japan, deers are considered sacred because of their ties to Shintoism, so it was cool to be an up-close observer in their home. We soon finished up, and just before leaving, I bought some more postcards to send home. Our first day at the park had finished, and on the drive home, the kids spotted a fox on the side of the road. When we got back, we relaxed at the inn's onsen, then had a delicious seafood dinner with all kinds of entrees, like frozen salmon sashimi, shabu-shabu, and scallops, just to name a few. After dinner, I watched the kids while my host parents went out. Then we all headed to bed around 10, excited for the day ahead. And that concludes day 21 of our road trip. Thanks to those of you who watched until the end, and if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might find it interesting. Stay tuned for my next video, where we explore viewing spots, see whales on a boat tour, check out a hot spring that appears at low tide, and more in the neighboring town of Daosu. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.